there's something that I wanted to share with you. A story that made me think about life and about winning and losing. When I was a child, when I was just turning 7, and I remember that we were playing football in this garden. Quite a lot of us, about 10, 15 kids, and I remember that in those days they used to work on they used to work on the roads, and what they did, they built this sort of trenches. So they had this sort of trench on this side next to the. So we had two roads. We had one road on this side, one on the other side. In the middle, it was this sort of. It was full of flowers and things, like, you know. So cars will go that way and cars will go this way. So, and by in the middle of the road, it was some sort of a. It wasn't a path, but it was more like you had trees and you had all sorts of things. You know, it's the same as you see in Paris or places like this, in Europe in general. And I remember that they were building, they were working on something on this side here, and they built this. They had these trenches, these dig holes, and I remember that they had a few tractors parked there on the side. You see, so and we were playing in the garden. This garden was, they had massive fences, and we were just there. And the ball went over the fence and it went onto the street. And I remember that, you know, I was fast, but it was this guy that was, you know, he was a lot faster than me. And, you know, as a child, you want to be better than someone else. You see, you always want to be, you don't want to be fast, you want to be smart and so on. And I think, and that was a lesson, I think, and I look back now and I think to myself, you know, that was a lesson that, you know, a very strong lesson. So the ball went over the top and I quickly rushed so I can get it, because they said, oh, come on, because you're the fast one. But this guy rushed first, and it was a lot faster than me, but of course you're not going to acknowledge that. And when he started running, when he went out, he started running towards the ball. I was behind him. So we were both trying to get the ball. On the left, we had we had the tractors parked, so we couldn't see what was coming from that side, you see. So when the ball landed in the middle of the road, so when we went to get the ball, he went first, and he just went past the tractor. And that moment, the car came, and it just went boom, like it started flying. I saw him flying, like it happened so fast. I saw him flying. Him being 6 years old, more or less same age as me, because we're all the same age. I saw him flying, and he landed, and his body just went sort of, and the women that they were just there on the streets and all that, they all came, because some of them heard the noise, but some of them saw, you know, this whole thing. I saw some older women there, some elderly women, and they came in, and it's very interesting because that day, you know, I went home and I told my mom and dad, and I told, because they are having a party, I remember. And they didn't, little they know, they knew that it could have been me. And later I found out that that boy couldn't move anymore. One of the guys that, years later, he says to me, you remember that boy that he got hit by a car? He says, you and him, you were running and you got hit by a car. And he got hit by a car and you were just behind. And I said, yeah, of course, I can never forget that. And he said, he says he can't move, he's in a wheelchair. And you know, and I went and told my mom when I was that age, and I remember I told them, I said to them, this is what happened. I says, it could have been me, but he was a lot faster than me, and he happened to him. And they just went back to whatever they were doing. And I was, you know, shaking. I was scared because I couldn't really, you're still a child, you understand what happened to that kid, but you don't really understand the pain. You don't understand those kind of things, right? Is when you get older, that's when you understand. We look back and you think what that kid went through, you see. And and that day, if I look back and I think, the lesson that you learn from it. He says you never know. People would have said, oh, people told me, oh, God looked after you that day, but then God was sad that day because he didn't look after me. He didn't look after him either. It was neutral. Because, and again, it's the fact that people should understand that God is not going to stop cars, and it's gonna make you feel safe, or it's gonna create that safe path for you. It doesn't work like that. Because I was thinking, what it could have been me, but because he was a lot faster and was better than me, then it happened to him. So I understood that winning and losing, it's just a different perspective. It's just a different thing about winning and losing in life. And I heard something. He said you never know the consequences of a misfortune, and you never know the consequences of a good fortune. So, what did I want to with this story? Just want to say that sometimes you realize that it's the loss that you think you think you've lost. You think you're not better than somebody. And the bigger picture, when you analyze it, you actually realize that maybe there's a reason that you're not good at that. Maybe there's something behind that. Maybe instead of just being quick to be sad and quick to criticize, maybe we should just think that there's a reason for it, And instead of blaming God for our misfortunes, maybe we should understand that sometimes certain misfortunes can bring some good things, and certain good fortunes can bring some bad things. It reminds me of the story with the Chinese farmer. But I'll tell that in another video. And but yeah, that's the story I wanted to share. And you see, if I was better than that guy, if I was a lot faster, then I would have never been here in the first place. I would have never been in front of this camera to tell you this. It would have been me. So, again, I bet there's a lot of stories out there, but I just wanted to share this with you. So I'm gonna end this video, and I hope you learned something from this. And I'll just make another video about something else. So if you can subscribe, then I'll just tell you more about life and about who I am.